Hello, dear. A very warm welcome to you if you are new to this channel. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you very much and welcome back. In this video, I am going to explain you the contents of Sonnet 73, That Time of the Year, written by William Shakespeare. First, let me give you some background. William Shakespeare had an intimate friend who is normally referred to as the fair youth because he was very handsome and very fair. Shakespeare's love for him was very deep, and naturally he expected the same response, more love, more attention from the fair youth, which he was not getting. Therefore, we can see here very clearly that he is almost urging the fair youth to love him more. Though Shakespeare was not an old man when he wrote this sonnet, he imagines himself to be old and he is nearing death. This is something strange. So here we come to know how desperate he was to get attention and love from the fair youth. In this sonnet, there are 3 quatrains and a couplet. The first quatrain, the second, the third quatrain, and the couplet. The only idea expressed in all the 3 quatrains is that he is going old. In the first quatrain, Shakespeare compares his life to late autumn. That means he is going old. He is nearing death. In the second quatrain, he compares his life to twilight, that is after the sunset. Again, it refers to old age. In the third quatrain, he compares his life to an amber or a dim fire, which will be extinguished within few minutes. Now, let me give you the explanation line by line. That time of the year you mayst in me behold. This first line indicates that there is someone sitting in front of him, and this could be the fair youth, and he is telling that person to look at him. Shakespeare doesn't say exactly what the other person has to see in him. Immediately the idea shifts to the nature. He expresses it poetically. So he draws parallel or he uses a metaphor, and in the second line he says, when yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold. The second line clearly indicates which time of the year it is. Yellow leaves or leafless tree. This indicates late autumn. It is the autumn. But how do we come to know that it is autumn? That the leaves of the trees have gone yellow and they are about to fall, and in some of the trees there are very few leaves, and in some of them there are no leaves at all. This indicates the autumn, or you can say the late autumn. So here Shakespeare wanted to just say that he is going old. Here Shakespeare considers 1 year as his whole life. So there are 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn and winter. So if spring is the beginning of the life, winter is the end of life, that is the death. Now he says that time of the year is late autumn, that he is old. And further he says that the few leaves which are there in the boughs, they shake because of cold, he says. This is unheard of. The tree never gets cold and doesn't shiver. It's a human being that shivers because of cold. Here, though the leaves are shaken by the wind, Shakespeare is imagining that they are shaken by the cold. So therefore, we can say that this is a personification. He is treating the tree as a human being which shakes. Bare ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. The phrase bare ruined choirs represents two things. Choir means the group of singers singing the prayer in a church. But he says it is ruined choir. Ruined means destroyed. So here we have to imagine that a church has been destroyed. Therefore, the people, those who came to sing, that is a choir, they are not there. They have deserted the church. So according to the poet, a few days ago, birds used to come and sing here, sitting on the branches. But now these birds have deserted this place. Therefore, I think he calls it as a ruined, destroyed one. All these are only comparisons. He is comparing all these things to his old age, advancing age. The singing of the birds represents the happy moments and colorful moments of his life. That is his youth. But now, as the youth has passed and he is now going old, that means he is losing the vigor and vitality and the happy moments of his life. Therefore, he needs love and affection from the fair youth. In the second stanza, he says, in me thou seest the twilight of such day as after sunset fadeth in the west. The sunset fades in the west. See the beauty of this sonnet. In the first quatrain, Shakespeare has compared his life to 1 year of time. But in the second stanza, he is taking 1 day as his life. Sunrise being the beginning of his life and the night being the end of his life, that is his death. The twilight represents the old age, which by and by black night doth take away, which means the twilight. The twilight will be swallowed by night. He calls it a black night. That means it is death for him. It is the end of life. Death's second self that seals up all in rest. Second self means it's another form. So here, death's second self is the night. You know that death is a permanent sleep and sleep is a temporary death. That's how it is said, isn't the night takes everybody into its ambit and makes everyone sleep. Here again, the idea is that he is highlighting his advancing age. In the third quatrain also, the same idea is expressed through a metaphor, ember, or a dim fire. See how he says, in me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth lie. Here, Shakespeare is referring to the dim fire which is shown up among the ashes. That is, a log was burnt here. So when it started burning, the flame was more. This represents that during his childhood and his youth, he had a lot of energy with him, but slowly the same fire has produced ashes. And now that ash is going to cover the same flame, and slowly it is going to extinguish the fire. The fire whose intensity is coming down. This he is expressing as his vitality, or you can say his energy within. As the deathbed whereon it must expire, that is, the ash that has been produced is going to be the deathbed for the fire which was there. That's why the next line is very interesting, and there is a juxtaposition of two contradictory ideas, contrasting ideas. See the beauty of this. Consumed with that which it was nourished by. That means the thing which nourished the flame, that is, the burning substance in the log, that is hydrocarbon, made the flame, and now after burning, the same fire which has produced the ashes is going to be its deathbed. Now it will consume the fire. Slowly, slowly, the fire which was burning so much will come down, and ultimately it will be extinguished by the ashes. That means ash is consuming the fire. Now the analogy is that his vitality, his energy is going down because of the age. He is going old. That is the indication he wants to give. So far, the same idea of old age and death has been expressed in all the three quatrains. But see the sudden change in the couplet. Normally, the couplet is the place for conclusion. Now here, the mood also changes a lot. See what it says. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong. Now he is telling the fair youth that if he understands this, if he perceives this, that is his condition, then definitely his love for him will increase. Actually, this is what Shakespeare wants. Now he is indicating that he is going old, and he is not going to be here for long, and they are going to depart after some times. So he is now urging that his love for him should increase. It should become stronger and stronger. To love that well which thou must live ere long. Ere long means before long. That means again he is indicating that time is less, because he is already old and coming very near to death. So this is a time he expects more and intense love for him. The last couplet has made this sonnet a love sonnet. Otherwise, in all the three quatrains, there was a mood of somber, there was sadness, there was unrest. But at the last, in the concluding couplet, Shakespeare is urging the fair youth that this is a time he should give more attention to the poet, and he should love him more. You have come up to here is a proof that this video has been good to you. I hope you have understood everything. There are so many other things which I have to take up, but already the video is too long. If I add all those things, it will become too long. In a day, at a time, giving so much of a thing is not good. Therefore, I am making another video which contains the summary, analysis, and all the poetic devices that have been used here. All about this sonnet will be given in that video. Please watch that video also. Here is a link for that video. If you want the explanation in Hindi, then go to my other channel, English Needs. Type it without gap, English Needs. You will get my Hindi explanation.